Yeah, man. So next up, it was Kaz Hayashi
versus
who
Chavo Guerrero.
I also think wasn't in Revenge, but was in Mayhem, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't Kaz in Mayhem too?
He was.
Yeah. Against Chavo Guerrero Jr. wearing his Eddie Guerrero is my favorite wrestler t-shirt, not accompanied by Eddie. So it's like Chavo is a good guy here, you know. He's being forced to be kind of a bad guy.
He was
Eddie.
bullied by Eddie, yeah.
Kaz is kind of has no personality. He's good or bad, depending on who he wrestles. He's a bona fide kind of enhancement talent, but he's doing some good matches. You know, in ring the guy is good. In ring overall, this show we can't really complain. You know, Chavo comes out with the win. It's basically just building on that Chavo storyline. It's pretty cool that there's like multiple things going on in the cruiserweight division. It's not just like whoever's fighting for the title has a storyline and the rest of them just wait it out. Kind of, that's like how WWE did the cruiserweight division, which never worked, you know. But this is like proof of why the WCW cruiserweight division was awesome, because of the depth of good wrestlers in it, you know. Anyways, next we get Raven cutting an awesome classic Raven promo on DDP. He has stolen DDP's coveted US title here. And yeah, he's saying how DDP abandoned him and how they used to be boys, and how Jake the Snake was both of their mentors, and Jake the Snake said DDP would one day betray him. He should have listened to him. So basically they're building up this Raven DDP feud, which is an awesome feud. Yo, it's yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, definitely
awesome
classic 1998 feud. So it was Nitro pay-per-views all the time. DDP versus Raven. They both had Nirvana music. You know, they had that MTV vibe, no?
Oh,
they were
yeah,
doing
definitely.
that feud. It was I think we spoke about this once. They had that MTV vibe.
They were definitely like some of the cooler wrestlers of the time. They were definitely like hip, you know. They looked cool. They looked like guys that the younger crowd would definitely attach to. Like, I remember thinking both of them looked cool, you know.
They were cool. They were grungy, you know, like DDP was gangsterish kind of.
Yeah, for sure. So then next Raven wrestles, which was weird when I saw it initially. It's Raven against Buff Bagwell. And the Flock is definitely heel. NWO is definitely heel. So it's heel versus heel. I was like, what are they thinking?
Yeah.
The match almost doesn't even really take place because DDP comes out and Raven just runs away right away, basically. And then
like
DDP
usual.
cuts a promo, which is like a real reality style promo, basically. And it's like, it's him talking about basically about his positivity, which he still talks about today. And it's actually a shoot, you know?
It is a shoot, and man, he's had success with that. Positively Canyon, rest in peace. But definitely, yeah, he's held that. That is the trademark of DDP. It was feel the bang plus positivity, and he is positive, man. God bless him.
Yeah, great work he's done, definitely. Yeah, next up we get two more classic WCW era wrestlers. Kidman, who is not the cute Kidman that people still remember from today. He's the dirty Kidman. He does more scratching in this match than actual moves. He's taking on Disco Inferno.
Disco Inferno was seasoned. He's seasoned, you know, he's a seasoned veteran when it comes to the cruiserweight. No, like he's
at this time they even say on commentary that he's a more focused Disco Inferno. He's less gimmicky. But I'll say in this match, Kidman is super gimmicky. He's just like scratching instead of doing his moves. He was getting the gimmick.
Wasn't his gimmick heroin addict?
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he always itched. I read that online very recently, bro, and I was disturbed. If I would have thought that in 1998, bro, that would have. I just
You know
thought
what
he was
I
a dirty,
thought at the
grungy
time?
guy, like a homeless.
You know what I thought? I thought honestly, I thought he was scratching because he had fleas. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, he's
exactly.
disgusting.
Exactly. Like he looked all grungy with his greasy hair, so I thought, not, he just, he
It's
was
just gross.
itchy. He had
Yeah.
fleas, or he had fleas.
Yeah. So Disco
Uh,
Inferno picks up the win over Kidman, which I thought was a bit unexpected, but you got to like that for this era. It wasn't unexpected because Kidman was like a new star. He had definitely not been cruiserweight champion. I don't think at this point. He was just developing his character still here.
Yeah, definitely. It was a great match, both of them. Disco Inferno was gimmicky and stuff, but great wrestler, definitely.
Yeah. It's always
Entertaining.
good to see Disco.
For sure.
I still love him. He has a podcast with Conan, Keeping It 100, which is an awesome wrestling podcast.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of its content for sure.
And I
I
mean,
like Glenn.
I love when they talk about old WCW.
Definitely, Glenn Gilbertine in the house. Then we cut to another, and they're feuding now. Kurt Hennig and Jim Neidhart.
Yeah, Hennig and Neidhart are fighting here. They have a match. Hennig comes out with Rick Rude during the match. Neidhart's calling out to Rude the whole time. Yeah, so it's basically like the Hart family against Hennig and Rude representing NWO feuding here. Neidhart picks up the win by DQ when Rude makes his way to ringside and starts attacking him. He pulls out a belt. That doesn't last for long as Bret and Bulldog end up showing up. Bulldog's wearing like pajama pants. He looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, do you realize that? So
he looks like a guy on Christmas morning waking up to fucking open presents with his
presents, bro. That's exactly the same pants I wore. This Christmas,
and
bro.
then you get a new pair for Christmas, and you're like, nice. Wear these next year.
For real. Like maybe he just he didn't bring his gear.
His gear, or he doesn't have jeans. He's just dressed like a fucking bum.
Showed up out of nowhere. But
and then some other members of the NWO come out. Like Brian Adams seems to be also involved in this feud, kind of. And I think they announced Bulldog versus Hennig is going to be at the pay-per-view. So, like, I don't know what they're doing with Bret here. Is he injured? He's just doing run-ins and stuff like that. He's not really wrestling. But, yeah, it's weird. Bret is, like, not wrestling. He's just, like, appearing and doing run-ins. And even at the pay-per-view, it's Bulldog who's getting booked. But I guess there's limited space, but I really don't understand.
Bret was getting paid like $2 million. Yeah, that dude already. So like I wouldn't complain. And we all know Bret's a great wrestler. He's just getting paid mad cash. So
next match, Booker T versus Benoit. I felt like we were starting to get towards like the last hour of the show, like how we were talking about in other episodes, how it feels like it's like divided into like mini episodes, and it like builds up and then takes you back down.
By now the commentator switched.
Yeah, exactly. Get a fresh man in there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like a line change. It was like a line change in hockey. Like put a fresh man in there.
Exactly, which I'm watching right now. It's still 0-0 Tampa and Toronto in game 3. Series tied at 1-1. Great hockey going on, but great wrestling was going on in '98.
This was the 8th match?
No, this was like they haven't even started their best of 7 series yet. Their last match they had last week was the first match, went to the time limit. This one also goes to the time limit. So when people talk about the best of 7 series, they don't remember that there was a bunch of matches that they had before that led up to, I think J.J. Dillon's going to come out eventually and be like, you're going to have a best of 7 series. So it was actually more of like a best of 12 series or something like that.
Right.
So yeah, so it goes to the time limit, which is a TV title kind of trope. If it goes past 10 minutes, that's the kind of gimmick of the TV title, which is cool. Like the TV title, it had its own identity, Yeah. So then up next, we get Ultimo Dragon versus Psychosis.
But this was a good match.
Yeah,
great match.
two top cruiserweights. Only thing is that sucked is that it got cut short with the flock coming in and interfering. But you know what I was thinking in this match, because earlier in the show, like even Kaz versus Chavo and there was another cruiserweight match, Jericho versus Jannetty. There wasn't that, and even like Kidman. Overall, there wasn't that much high flying in the show. And I thought it was like, maybe they're saving it because they know that like Psychosis and fucking Ultimo are going to go out there and tear it up. So let's not burn out the crowd with too much high flying. They do some, but then, yeah, sadly, it gets cut short by the flock interfering.
Yeah, but just coming out. They end up, yeah. So, anyways,
And
both
then
of them
Ultimo and
team up with each
Psychosis
other.
like fight off
Team
the
up.
flock.
Exactly, they team up.
Yeah, there was a very flock heavy episode.
But that would have been interesting. The cruiserweights versus the flock.
Sure, yeah, would have been something. Maybe that's like they probably have a match next week or maybe on Thunder. Yeah. So then next up we get Goldberg taking on Ray Traylor, the former Big Boss Man. Which when I saw this, I legit said, and I wrote this in my notes, oh shit. Like, I don't remember Goldberg fighting Ray Traylor. And it was obvious Goldberg's going to win. And Ray Traylor at this point is well past the prime of his career. Well, he has a resurgence later in 98 in WWF. But yeah, Ray Traylor just puts over Goldberg, takes the beating. Ray Traylor has been known as a good guy who can move for a big man. And
Sure.
he does it here. He makes Goldberg look good. The fans are behind Goldberg, and he reminds me of AEW's Wardlow in modern day, which, I mean, anyone sees that because that's pretty freaking obvious
Wardlow is
that
the
they're
next
patterning
Goldberg.
him after
Yes,
him.
for sure.
Afterwards, Saturn jumps the guardrail, and he has to be held back once again by the appearance of the flock. But these guys are all over the freaking show, man. I think there's more flock than NWO on this episode, which is shocking to me.
Yeah, 98, there was a lot of flock at the beginning. It was a big
And like only half
stable.
their characters were even like, you could be
Relevant.
like, know their names, even really.
Relevant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Lodi was kind of funny, but we can move on. Then we get Savage showing up as Nash's fucking
Mystery.
partner.
I knew it in the
Mystery
beginning.
partner.
I had a
It
feeling.
seemed obvious a bit.
I thought it was
but
him or
maybe
Scott
it was
Hall.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I think everyone
so.
thought it was maybe Hall. But yeah, it ends up being Savage and Nash. And I thought they were a cool team together, actually, taking on classic WCW pairing Luger and world champion Sting, who is again not in the main event of the show.
It's
but it's
cool.
A good match. Savage
it's a good
and
match.
Nash pick up the win because another guy that we've seen way too much of, the Disciple, costs Sting and Luger the match by hitting a freaking stunner, which they're like, we're gonna make him use the stunner.
Bro, let me just say something. You have 4 of the biggest stars of WCW wrestling.
Dude, when it was getting to this match and the next match, which is gonna be Hogan Piper, which is your main event, I was like, wow, it has a big main event feel.
This was a big.
They even bring out Michael Buffer here.
Yeah. They're like, when they bring out Michael Buffer, bro, you know it's serious.
Yeah.
Like
this
it's
is
business.
Legit a match that people would have in Revenge, like 4 players on 64.
Exactly.
I'm taking Nash, I'm taking Hogan. Oh, I'm
exactly.
Taking Luger, I'm taking
like this
Sting.
is the 4 best of the. It's like they're taking the 4
Big
best
stars.
of the big stars. So the thing is, why the fuck would you send Disciple out? I know Hulk Hogan has something to do with that creatively. He was like, "Yo, brother,
Hogan
come on,
has creative control over anything that happens in WCW.
Like it's so irrelevant,
ridiculous
dude.
Contract.
They could have just sent out Bryan Adams. Like that would have worked.
Like what about the rest of the NWO? This is like a time where
Man,
it's starting to feel like the background characters of the NWO are like an afterthought. Some of them, Bryan Adams, like you said, Conan. It's starting to feel like there's a weird vibe in the NWO, and they're adding on guys like the Disciple. We don't need to see him. He's not popular. They're trying to shove him down our throats. He is a heel, and
but because of that, we don't like him. Because of that,
we don't want to see him on our TV.
Exactly. Because of that, we don't like him, bro.
And I think the Disciple might have been in Mayhem. Was he? I remember his shitty beard.
Probably. I'm gonna actually play tonight, man.
Bust that good old mayhem. Sounds like a
Absolutely, bro.
plan, my friend.
Mayhem.
So
I'm probably
then,
gonna show you pictures, but
main event match. But yeah, okay. Got anything else to say about that match?
no.
Yeah, no, it was just sad that the disciple has to cost Luger and Sting the match. Then we get Piper Hogan as a main event on Nitro, and the match actually happens, and it's not only like 1 minute long. Like, dude, I just want to put this point out there. Okay, people love to, remember the Attitude Era. Oh, Austin with those classic McMahon Raws and blah blah blah. Okay, people consider that the best wrestling shows ever, arguably. But there was a show playing at the exact same time that was getting better ratings. People are like, oh, all of Nitro must have sucked because like it sucked from like halfway 99 on. Dude, people forget. It's like Game of Thrones. People think because of the last season that it sucked, that the whole series sucked. Dude, Nitro at this time was amazing. This might be like the best wrestling show of all time.
Yeah, Nitro was.
I mean, like,
come on,
like
because
from
bro,
the very look at this Piper Hogan for free on TV. Like, I don't care what Raw was putting on at the same time.
Yeah,
and I can tell you actually, if this really was lines up, that this was the one right after. So it was this is really like the 30th. It was a March 30th. March 30th.
98
Nitro here. The main event, I believe, was Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie against New Age Outlaws in a cage match. That's a great match. But Hogan Piper?
Yeah, it's huge.
I think
Those
I would be
two huge
watching
names.
Hogan Piper, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like you saw, they knew how to
be VHSing in the den, the second room.
Yeah.
For people would do that. You have the second room. You'd need a second TV with a second
to
VCR
do that.
to
Absolutely.
watch two shows.
Exactly, bro.
Unless you were a real genius and you could set it up that you could tape something on another channel.
Man,
I was never.
It's so easy now, but man, is it easy? Do it with your phone.
Piper Hogan. It starts out as a brawl. They're brawling, and it basically the disciple by God gets involved. Jesus. And if he wasn't involved, this would be a way better match. But it's basically Piper taking on both of these guys alone, and he does it. As I said in the last episode, I bet you throughout this run, we're not going to see Piper lose any matches though. And like we all look back on Piper so fondly, and yes, I love Piper. He's probably in my Mount Rushmore of favorite wrestlers of all time, honestly. But dude, the guy was a big politician as much as Hogan was. Let's not like look at it on rose-colored glasses.
He didn't want to lose certain ways.
He didn't want to lose. He never lost hardly. He would lose only under his own terms, and it was very, very, very rarely. Which he wins here by DQ because of the stupid ass disciple. And then we get Kevin Nash coming out. The Giant comes out. Before the whole melee comes out, the fans start throwing garbage, which is a classic WCW trope. But at one point, Piper gets hit with a full cup of beer, man. And he's just like drenched from head to toe.
Yeah, man.
And the whole crowd audibly goes, oh, and then other people are like, oh, that guy got a big like reaction. More garbage. Remember that being a thing? That was never a thing in WWF.
No, they didn't. They never did it. In WCW, they did it, man. And one of the most famous ones was Bash the Beach.
WCW wasn't afraid to go off the air with a heel being on top.
True. Absolutely, man. And they had an edge because of that. And the most famous one was Bash the Beach '96, man. When they really rammed the ring with dude,
the ring with garbage.
They were super mad at that. So like, yeah, for sure, it's trademark WCW. It's that grimy where the big boys play slogan that they had, bro.
Yeah. So the United Center was a host to a classic evening of wrestling here. I mean, this might be one of the better Nitros, definitely, that we've watched.
Yeah, for sure. And I can't wait to watch the next one, probably. And
I wasn't that pissed off that the main event ended in a DQ because I knew that with these two in there, these two politicians, you're not going to get a clean victory.
No, we knew it going in.
No one's going to like allow the other one to pin their shoulders to the mat. not
It
on
was
free
just,
TV.
but we were just
And
happy to see those two icons, collide
that's it.
because that
And
was
they're building up
90
to a pay-per-view. We're gonna see another
on
match.
top.
I remember honestly not liking Piper at the time. I was bored of Piper at the time. I remember thinking that. I was kind of bored of Piper. I thought NWO was cool. I was NWO more at the time.
Yeah, I was
I
bored
liked
of Ric
Sting. I
Flair,
remember
Piper.
being like thinking Sting was basically one of the only cool guys on the WCW side. I didn't like Luger, you know.
I didn't. Yeah, Luger, I always found he was
And then
very
I liked
plain.
a lot of the mid-card guys. I liked Sting. And then the rest of the WCW side guys I liked was all mid-card cruiserweight.
I always liked who appealed to me was the Giant, Sting, Hogan, obviously because he was the leader of the NWO. And then you had Macho Man. So these guys are appealing. Ultimate Dragon, all the mask guys, Psychosis, Rey Mysterio.
Ray.
Bro, I liked Raven. He DDP too. Yeah, very solid. Honestly, this show is
Booker was
amazing.
awesome.
And
Yeah,
I
I
usually
found they had a bit of everything here for the show, a bit of
and it's
everything,
really
a bit of
entertaining
something for everything,
for
for
sure.
everyone. It's
So
not a perfect show, but I mean, it's as good as you can get almost for a TV show. I'm gonna give it a 9 on 10, honestly. 9 on 10.
yeah, I went for a 9 on 10 too. Honestly, it wasn't perfect, but almost damn
No, but like
perfect.
Piper Hogan as a main event on TV, the semi-main event, Savage Nash versus Luger Hogan, that's like a perfect.
Dude, like 6 of the biggest
Before that,
superstars.
you've seen like almost all the cruiserweight stars. We didn't see Ray. There's some guys you don't see, but like you can't see everyone. We've seen
Because they have a
Jericho. We've
huge
seen
roster, but
Goldberg.
then next episode, what's refreshing is it's random again,
There you
bro.
go. It's like,
Every
oh Ray, we
episode is
haven't seen him in a
random.
couple episodes.
Like, dude, we just saw Marty Jannetty out of nowhere, and yeah, like
We got him out of the flock here. Well, I'm gonna change my note to 8. I'm putting a solid 8. That it's more conservative. I'll give it an 8. I think we've seen a bit too much of the flock and a bit too much of the disciple. But other than that, it was a really good show.
yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week with the next Nitro that follows from that. So if you follow along with us, we hope you're enjoying our reviews here. And we're going to keep on with this 98 train because it's some great stuff. And we've been thoroughly enjoying watching these Nitros.
Absolutely. Happy TGIF, wrestling
That's it,
fans.
TGIF, baby. Urkel out.